Happy Friday, everyone. Let's give it a second. Take a second to see how you want to show up. If you want to have your camera on, if you want to have it off, what feels comfortable and right for you. I will say, just so that you guys know, even though this is recorded, it is recorded in speaker. So even if your camera's on, if you're not talking, you're not seen in the recording. Let's do a one-word check-in. It's Friday, still the beginning of the year. We're on a new monthly topic. In one or two words, how are you showing up today? And everything or anything is welcome. I'm not one of those believers that healing means we all have these like smiles plastered on our faces and we never feel anything. So honoring whatever comes up. Curious, good, a bit lonely, or sad, missing my son. Sorry to hear that. Mostly good and tired, exhausted, content, just back from rollerblading, fun, a bit racy, frazzled, good and tired. Some more goods and some scattered. So we're all over. Eager to get into specifics about upgrading. Yeah, so that's what we do on our Tuesdays. So our first meeting was awesome. I like to think so. It was a really good intro to the topic. We're going to continue to deep dive on Tuesday on that. But today's group coaching. So for those that were there on Tuesday or for those that watched it, this is an awesome meeting. So if you're trying to apply, this is the great part about the live meetings. It's like, oh, I learned something and I'm trying to apply it and something's not right. I'm struggling, or it sounded easy, but it's not working for me. And this is where you can get extra support. So that's what we do in our group coaching. And then the last 25 minutes, I'm going to do a somatic experiencing session where we work on it instead of on a cognitive level, but directly with the nervous system.
It's been a while. I miss being on your calls.
Happy to have you back. Yeah.
Thank you. Um, so my, I guess I just wanted to share something and then maybe get some feedback. So there was a lady here a while back, and she said something that I didn't understand at the time, but she basically had said like she was married and there were no issues. And then one day she set a boundary and her husband couldn't handle it, or then it was at that point when she set a boundary that she realized he was a narcissist, and I didn't understand that. But then this past month, I set a boundary with someone I'd never set a boundary before. I had the same thing happen where that person basically, was giving me the silent treatment for me, kind of saying like, "Hey, in a very nice way, this is not working for me." And I just wanted to get your opinion on that. Like, I feel like you don't really know someone until you put up a boundary and say that doesn't work for me. I'm thinking like maybe just to be on the safe side, like especially with a romantic partner or even with a friend, like maybe come up with a boundary like early on, like just a fake one, like somehow come up with something where you can be like, hey, that doesn't work for me, to see how they react.
So it's kind of like, I love this point because I was wondering how many would pick up on that when that share came out. Um, think about for those that were in a relationship with a narcissist or had a family member that was a narcissist, then you realized it, right? And let's say you
Mm-hmm.
detoxed from that relationship, and then all of a sudden you realize how many people in your life also are. Well, the difference is that when we didn't know, when we were unconscious, we were living in a role or a belief system that didn't notice that. Like, I'm not allowed to have a boundary. So we weren't putting down boundaries. How could we tell if they were toxic or not? If we were stuck in people pleasing, we were stifling ourselves all the time, making the other person happy. Then we start healing and we're like, well, wait a second, I matter. And now we show up in that belief and all of a sudden people don't like it. And then we start noticing.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. So does that make
Yeah.
sense?
Oh my God, that's like I have been putting up with her my whole life, and I love her, but I was like, whoa, this is not working for me anymore. I guess because
Yeah.
I've changed, I've been doing all the work. And yeah. And funny enough, that same day that I put up the boundary.
So I just want to read what I just put. I think you do not necessarily have to set a fake boundary as a test, but be aware of
Thank
how
you, because
they
I'm not
are
reading any chat right now.
around boundaries from the beginning. So it's really not about testing people. It's really about having healthy boundaries all the time. Like boundaries are our friends, like all the time. As we learn that we are allowed to have boundaries, we are allowed to say no. We are allowed to have boundaries even when people get upset. And we live in that truth, that's going to show like who's healthy and who's not. Just to throw that out there.
Yeah, I just, I could see how for me, I just don't want to get in a situation where it's like years after. That's the only reason I was saying come up with
Yeah.
something stupid and little. But yeah, I mean, that's just, me being a little silly maybe, but
It's just that we lived, I know with myself for a long time, I was scared of boundaries. I was scared of people being upset with me. And when you learn that people are allowed to be upset if and you're still allowed to have a boundary, then you're teaching people how to be with you. And people that don't like boundaries, people that are toxic, are not going to want to be around. At the same time, we got 40 seconds. I want to throw this in there.
Mhm.
If we were people without boundaries and now we are setting boundaries and people freak out, you may have to give some time to
Yeah.
be with the new you. Okay,
Yeah,
just throwing
some
that out there.
grace.
So I had some friends that
Hmm.
bucked it because it was brand new for me to be healthy, boundaried. But as they noticed it, then the friendship changed and it became more reciprocal and it became healthy. Others
Yeah.
ended. So just being aware and just being balanced with that. Just wanted to throw that out there. Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for
Thank
sharing. Awesome topic. So in this video, we're only sharing small parts of our group coaching session. So some things that you want to keep in mind is the fact that we should always exercise boundaries in every relationship right from the start. So to do that, we really need to learn to be comfortable saying no. Also, we have to recognize that boundaries aren't about making other people happy. It's about protecting what feels right for us. And if people get upset, that's their choice. You're not responsible for how they choose to respond to your boundaries. And in fact, if they emotionally punish you or get angry at you for exercising healthy boundaries, remember that's a huge red flag. And last but not least, remember that even in healthy relationships, if you never had boundaries before and you start setting them, even healthy people might at first not react the best, but if they truly are healthy, they will quickly adapt to this new and healthier version of you and they will respect your boundaries. What if, right? So they're not giving you permission to be you, right? And do it how you
you.
want it. What if you gave them permission to feel that way in the sense that you don't like it, but it's also not your job to get them to see it exactly how, like that's what narcissists train us to do. Everyone has to see things exactly the same way. What if it's like, I'm sorry you feel that way. I get it. You're allowed to see it that way. Thanks for sharing. And you stay in you. What would that be like?
I'm not sure that I could. I love hearing you say it. When I'm in that moment, I think my fear level creeps up because I start to
Yeah.
read read them, and I'm like, oh, they're losing it. And then,
So
um,
let's pause before you get to
yeah,
that point. Let me ask you, what would you need to believe about yourself to be able to handle it that way?
that I don't know. It's almost like there's a level of protection of myself that I don't have. Um, it's like the intensity of what comes back seems to go straight in. I don't know quite. To be honest, I'm not entirely clear what goes on because it happens very quick.
So I would encourage you to spend some time, obviously not in the moment when it's something like that's happening, because you can't, but spend some time exploring, like, what might I be making that mean? Because until we uncover that, like we can have all the solutions in the world, but we're not really like understanding what we're working with. That's like the first step. I would
Mm.
encourage you to spend like one exercise that's good is tracking the charge, like thinking about it and noticing it. If it's too intense, doing the pendulation exercise, but being able to notice it and spend time with it so that you understand exactly what it is. Do you know what I mean?
Part of it's definitely I feel I'm unsafe, and not knowing how to feel safe.
So there's the meaning. So we don't have much more time, but I'll throw this out there. How often do you feel safe?
Not often.
Right. So here's the thing with our nervous system, because we lived so long not being safe, even when we are, the nervous system doesn't register it. So way before we try to be safe with others, we want to practice being safe when we're not with others. And we have to help our body to feel that inner sense of safety. I have a question for everyone in the chat box. With 100% being the highest on a day-to-day, like I know with myself, when I was in the relationship, when I was in my childhood, I was 100% with zero felt sense of safety. Like I 100% of the time felt unsafe. 0% of the time felt safe. Even if I wasn't around my parents or even if I wasn't around my ex, my nervous system was waiting and bracing for when I was. So checking in with yourself on a scale of 0 to 100%, with 100% being, I feel safe in my life. So the higher the number, the more safe you feel, even when, and this is the important part, the narcissist or the toxic relationship or the challenging circumstance isn't around. What's your percentage? And let me open up my chat box. So again, the higher the number, the more safe you feel. So we have 5%, we have 70, 20, 30, 70s, 85s to 90s. The more work we do, the safer I feel. Yeah, that's what doing this work is all about. I love it. So the longer you've been on your journey, the higher the number you're going to have, or I don't even remember what I said. The higher the number is the safety. Yes. Okay. 70 since thrivers. Beautiful. So for those that are more at the newer end of doing this work, of really doing this inner work, what about we take 2 minutes to do like a felt sense of safety exercise so we can taste it right now? Okay, so get comfortable. One of my favorite things that helps with helping the body is having a pillow. Pillows are so wonderful to just like feel, especially if you go into dissociation and numbness. Putting it against your belly and your chest is really helpful. Taking a moment to just notice your breath. And noticing how you're breathing. Like, is your chest rising and falling? Is your chest and belly? If it feels right, you can close your eyes, or you can find something that you can just allow yourself to have a soft focus on. And taking a minute to feel the chair, the support underneath you and behind you. So really noticing your tailbone, your sit bones. Feeling the support on the back of your thighs. Imagine with each breath you take in that you're inhaling peace. And with each exhale, imagine you're letting go any stress or tension that you might have. And if it feels right on an exhale, you can even sigh, like making that sound like, and feeling yourself almost going a little bit deeper into the chair with each exhale. And if you can put your hands on your knees or on your legs with your palms up, imagine feeling from your right hand, like putting all of your awareness in your right hand. You can almost feel the change of temperature. And then bringing your awareness to your left hand and noticing that change of temperature. And with that awareness that you notice in your hands, travel your body and see if you can find a place that feels most still, most okay. It could be your pinky finger, your left earlobe. And really feel what it feels like from your body's perspective to spend a moment in this place. What are the characteristics there? And now taking a moment to open your eyes and taking in your surroundings. And finding something in your space that your eyes are drawn to. Really, once you find that, how does your body let you know that it likes to look at that? Like, is there a sigh? Is there like a settling? Let me know what you noticed inside as we did that. Joy, warmth, sigh and smile, presence, softness, reliability, ease. Smile, I smirked, peace. My attention decreased, present. Okay, so after trauma, I know with myself, I thought that those feelings would just happen because the person was gone. And they didn't. My nervous system stayed alert. And so those 2 minutes on a regular basis, now we're retraining our nervous system to feel safe. We can't feel safe with others and in challenging situations that we have to face until we really teach our body that we can also feel that way with ourselves. Okay, my friends, I hope you enjoyed this short section that was taken out of our last live group coaching meeting. By the way, we have group coaching every other Friday. We also have EFT every other Friday in Thriver School of Transformation, and we also meet with a different monthly topic every month. So if you're looking to work through your trauma, if you're looking to overcome CPTSD, narcissistic abuse, and you feel like you've been learning and watching video after video and still feeling stuck, make sure you come join our live meetings because that's what we do in a really beautiful international community. I will leave the links in the description box for you to check out and see if it's a good fit for you.